What is your tool stack for building community?
So first one is Discord for sure. There's a small learning curve if you're trying out Discord for the very first time. There are a lot of bots on Discord, like the Me6 bot or the Dino bot or the Discord Utils bot, or there are some games inside Discord that you can have for your community members to play. Different bots make that happen. So I would say learn Discord because it's a
My very first question to you is that if a SaaS brand that is even yet to launch, the beta phase, how should they go about building their communities for the beta testers to gain the feedback and also start eventually making sales perhaps? What would be your ideal strategy?
That's a very good question. The very first way I would start building communities for especially a new brand that is yet to launch is start to look at their audience first. Who are their audience? Are their audience older audience which don't necessarily use the latest tech apps like Discord, etc.? Then in that case, I would just go use Facebook groups. Why? Because the older audience is still on Facebook. Facebook is still a very much an active platform. And it also suggests your group to many other people where they're joining different groups, etc. So that's a very good way to gain new users organically if you're trying to use the Facebook groups. And you can also find similar groups that you can join in and be a part of to get more users. So my suggestion would be Facebook groups if you're just starting out initially. But if you have a community that's more into tech and they understand tech much better, they might prefer Discord for sure. Go ahead with Discord in that case, is what I would recommend.
All right. So that's on the platform side. But say I have to get that first member in my community.
Great.
Okay.
Question.
How do I go about it then?
Distribution platforms like LinkedIn and Twitter. And we use something called as build in public. Once you try to share your journey, like, hey, I'm building my startup and this is day one. I'm going to do this. Are you interested in following it? Many people would say yes, because we love following other people's lives. That's why keeping up with the Kardashians is, we need to keep up with them. Otherwise, many people would love to follow your journey. Once they say they would love it, just DM them and say thanks. Join our community. That's where I'll be posting and sharing stuff. Why don't you be a beta tester? They'll be like, wow, great. So not one, you get around 10 to 15 on your day one itself. If you just do it right. Okay. 1 or 2, it's easy. Okay. You'll just 10 to 15 numbers just like that on your day 2 or day like this. So, LinkedIn and Twitter for distribution of your content.
Okay. So for that, you need to have a strong personal brand beforehand, right? I think, does that come as a prerequisite to building in public through LinkedIn, Twitter, or any other platform?
I don't think so. Why? Because I've seen creators who started from scratch. Okay. I always love following these creators who are starting from scratch to see how they will be doing different. And recently I saw a Notion creator who started around 30 followers. She automatically got recommended to me on Twitter. And she started following all the Notion community members, Notion creators, interacting with their tweets, replying to their comments, etc. And many people started auto-following her, seeing her tweets and etc. So you can build your audience just like that by tapping into a particular niche. Initially when I started out, there was something called writers community on Twitter. It still exists. All writers support each other. If you have below 1,000 followers, they just come and follow you. It's extremely supportive if you're doing it in a positive right manner. Just tapping into a particular niche is important if you're trying to sell to everyone and trying to want to have everyone as your follower. It doesn't work that way, at least in the starting point. So that's how I recommend.
So to summarize this part, I would say that you need to be either building in public through LinkedIn or Twitter. You not necessarily have to have a personal brand. You just need to know who is your target audience, where do they hang out, and then just start tapping onto it.
Yes, start interacting with them wherever they're hanging out. They will check you out for sure.
So you are a community manager. My question to you is, this is probably like me asking you if you would want to give up on your job. But okay, would you recommend a founder to start that journey, or do you expect a founder to hire a community manager? What's that level, especially with the SaaS brands, that they should go in and hire a community manager like you?
So initially, when SaaS brands are starting out, they are bootstrapped. They're in the indie hacking stage, what we call it. If they're in that stage, they might as well mm, do it themselves by making a community and getting users, like how we discussed, because people love following founders. And when it comes from a founder, it's much more powerful. And if they're in the indie hacking stage and they're short of funds, they can do it themselves. They don't need me at all. But when you're doing things on a much bigger scale, when you have funds, when you have a lot of moving parts like a blog, content, there's PR going on, there's a lot of things, then it is wise, and it saves you a ton of time plus money if you're investing in a community manager, what I would say.
So that's Meenank pitching himself to all my listeners who are SaaS founders and can afford his services.
Absolutely. So I have like a small team, and we work to enhance and build your community, interact with your users. That's how it is. That's how the service works. Yeah.
Well, of course, you need to have a team if you really want to help your clients and scale to a point of 1 million USD in sales through community. That's
Absolutely. Without team, it's not happening at all.
that number was insane when I read it, and I was like, okay, I need you on my podcast. Hello, my TG is one of the SaaS founders.
Absolutely. So getting to 1 million was a great journey. It happens strategically. It's like initially when I got into it, I was like, okay, what is this SaaS? I just had to Google what was SaaS and all that. But yeah, fast forward, then I realized it's all pure marketing and psychology, whatever you understand. And just go about it. Whether you do SaaS marketing, whether you do influencer, whether you do any sort of marketing, it's all psychology, and that's the main core.
So understanding your consumers, their behavior, their pain points, etc. Again, which kind of
100%.
becomes part of branding.
100%. And making decisions with the help of data.
Now that you've raised that point, I'm going to quickly ask you, how much of it is that you particularly, when working on building communities, go on the side of rely more on the data or rely more on your gut?
Okay. So it's more about relying on experience. I've been building communities since I was like 7th or 8th, awkward stages. It was like fun back then. No work or money was involved in that. You sort of get to understand when you're building for such a while that, okay, which community member is active, why are they displaying this activeness, do they want something in return, etc. So I would say some decisions are definitely based on your gut. If you think this community member will be, is more likely to be active if you give him like a t-shirt or merch or something, I would definitely give him a t-shirt or a merch, and make sure he's active. So some of the decisions you take it via your gut, and some of it via the data, for sure. But most of it should be data, because data gives you all that insight. How many this guy sent, how many messages this particular community member sent, where on he interacted, in which all channels. Data gives it to you all, whether you use those analytical tools and etc. It gives it all, so you can easily see who your active members are, who have been commenting, who have been making posts. So whatever it is, so I would say I would use data, and then on top of it I would add my gut to it. You can say.
What is your tool stack for building community?
So first one is Discord, for sure. There's a small learning curve if you're trying out Discord for the very first time. There are a lot of bots on Discord, like the Me6 bot or the Dino bot or the Discord Utils bot, or there are some games inside Discord that you can have for your community members to play. Different bots make that happen. So I would say learn Discord, because it's a very handy platform available on mobile, PC, wherever you want it to go. But otherwise, my tech stack is pretty much simple. Google Sheets, because I track all the data over there. And then Google Docs is where I paste the monthly reports that I create for community management, tracking all the data and see where we can improve. and the opportunities that are there, etc. And pretty much a basic data stack, you can say, tech stack, you can say, Canva again to do communities and all, Canva again to design posters. Then you have what do you call? I'm exploring new tools like NAS.io and Threado. Both are looking uh, truly promising, and they provide insights, and they are a layer on top of your community. Whether you're building on WhatsApp, yes,
Yeah.
WhatsApp communities do work as well, and whether you're building on Discord, whether you're building anywhere else, they are on top. And I'm currently exploring that because it makes it easy.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah.
NAS just, I mean, if you would have seen my expressions when you said NAS, I was like, yeah, because, I've been in touch with them to help me build a community of around mental health folks. But yeah, that's a little off the topic. But yeah, NAS with their whole community feature is doing really great, is what I feel. And it's just helping me get more structured in terms of my community. So I just feel like, okay, I don't have to really move things around. It's just bringing everything under one umbrella and making it easy for me and my members to communicate and interact with each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, speaking of NAS, that brings me to the point. If your audience is Indian, you might as well have a WhatsApp group, that still counts as a good community. I know one example of a community-led product, completely community-led product, $0 in customer acquisition costs. It's called Fueler.
Okay.
It is a proof of work platform. Basically, resumes are thing of the past. You make a resume, it's fine, lists out all your achievements. But Fueler is more like lists out your proof of work, whatever you have done. You show the work as a proof. So I have a Fueler profile as well. I just add all my work, all the previous communities I've managed, all the webinars I've done. I just add it into a Google Sheet and then paste that link on Fueler, and I add it to my resume. Resume is important, but I add Fueler to my resume where they can click on it and see all my work. So rather than adding in Google Doc, explaining with permissions and getting lost all around, Fueler just does it all. So yeah, they are community driven, all on WhatsApp. Amazing community, all I can say. Yeah.
Are you part of that community?
Absolutely, yeah. It's like every single day I just look at it and something new is going on. It's fun.
Well, that was a powerful, insightful, and valuable podcast. And I hope you feel the same after listening to this podcast episode and had fun listening to our banters as well while you were learning. Do not forget to share with me in the comments below your learnings from this conversation. Hit the subscribe button, click on the bell icon to stay tuned for the next upcoming videos. And I'll see you soon. This is Divya Shah signing off.